Excitement in Southern Nevada as Major League Baseball clears the way for the Oakland A's to relocate to Las Vegas, the city's popular sphere, welcoming the team after a key vote earlier today. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to West Coast Wrap. I'm Alex Savage. Today, MLB owners voted overwhelmingly to approve the A's move to Las Vegas with plans to build a new ballpark right there along the Strip. Today's vote has been considered one of the major hurdles for the team's relocation. It happened during a meeting of team owners in Texas. That decision to greenlight the move has left fans in Oakland angry and frustrated. MLB Commissioner Rob Manfred said team owners took a vote after careful deliberation about the future of baseball.
There was no aspect of this issue that was left unturned, including what the Oakland opportunity was, what the Las Vegas opportunity was, how we ended up here, and what Las Vegas was going to do for Major League Baseball.
Oakland Mayor Sheng Tao says she is disappointed by today's vote. She stressed tonight the city's fight to keep the team is not over.
There are many hurdles that the owners of the A's have to go through in order to actually get a ballpark. And so Oakland remains very open to MLB conversations around possible expansion team and keeping the A's name here in the city.
Some fans say they're confident the mayor can put enough pressure on the league to reconsider this move. They believe uncertainty about where the team is going to play until a new ballpark can be built in Vegas is one thing that's working to their advantage.
Been in direct contacts with Mayor Tao for the last couple months, and she is not going to just give them a lease extension. That's not going to happen. So if they want to stay in the Coliseum, they're going to have to give up some things. They're going to have to leave the colors, leave the name here, and promise us an expansion team.
And tonight, the Oakland A's are using social media to make clear they are looking forward to this move. They posted an image of the team's logo in glowing lights, what you might expect to see along the Las Vegas Strip. Now, the Las Vegas Review-Journal's Mick Akers was in Texas for today's vote. I had a chance to talk with him earlier tonight about how local leaders and fans are reacting to this vote in Vegas.
Yeah, for the most part, I've been getting positive messages. People are saying, all right, another team added, let's go. Some people are saying, hey, I moved away from my home city and now we're going to have a baseball team, so now I'm going to adopt the A's as my home team. You had a big message on the Sphere Vegas, that's been getting a lot of attention with everything going on over there in Vegas right now. To say welcome A's with their giant logo on there, it looked like a baseball. And then we had Governor Joe Lombardo put out a statement and ended saying, let's play ball.
Where do the Oakland A's go from here to really, to make sure this deal goes through? What are the biggest hurdles yet to come?
I would say this was the last big hurdle. Obviously, they got to have some of their stadium deals in place with the Las Vegas Stadium Authority. That's going to take place over the next several months. The next meeting scheduled for December. So I'm assuming they'll continue what they already started last month. So that's just going to be a formality at that point. They still have the potential for the litigation from the teachers union, the schools over stadiums to deal with. But like I said, I talked to them about that, and they're pretty confident that that's going to be able to handle in court, and it's not going to affect their public funding of $380 million. So I would say this was the last major hurdle because, like I said, everything else is pretty much a formality. It's just going to go through the steps that you have to go through just to get the money awarded. From there, they're going to wait for Tropicana to announce, hey, we're going to close down Tropicana and then demolish it. Sometime next year, that's going to happen. Obviously, they're trying to get construction started in early 2025 to have the stadium ready by 2028. So, a lot of, paperwork to be done, a lot of meetings to be had. But, for the most part, this was the last major hurdle.
And former A's executive Andy Dolich is echoing the sentiment that this is not quite a done deal for the A's, how many fans feel in the Bay Area. He spoke with KTVU this afternoon about what he thinks is the strongest case against this move.
I'd start calling the question. And Commissioner Rob Manfred has only been concerned with one area so far in all of this, the Nevada Teachers Union having a lawsuit which is working its way through signatures. If that happens, that $385 million that the state legislature gave the A's could be disappeared, and that might change this. Oakland has to start fighting legally and legislatively and not with a box sent to 15 owners with some swag in it.
The A's have played in the Oakland Coliseum ever since moving to California in 1968. Their lease to play at that stadium extends through next season. The San Francisco Bay Bridge was shut down for several hours today because of a dramatic demonstration over the war between Israel and Hamas. In a carefully coordinated action, hundreds of pro-Palestinian protesters stopped their cars in the middle of the bridge's westbound lanes, and that brought traffic to a standstill for hours. Those protesters chained themselves together, and some even threw their car keys into the water, delaying efforts to reopen the bridge. The group behind this demonstration is calling for a ceasefire in Gaza.
We're here with hundreds standing up for thousands and millions of people around the country who are demanding ceasefire now. Joe Biden is in San Francisco talking with world leaders and putting money into the ongoing genocide, and we need to stand up and stop it now.
The westbound lanes to the Bay Bridge finally reopened just before noon today. The California Highway Patrol says they detained about 80 people who took part in that demonstration, and about 24 cars were towed away from the scene. A Southern California college professor has been arrested in connection with the death of a pro-Israel demonstrator. Loa Alagi was taken into custody today on suspicion of involuntary manslaughter. 69-year-old Paul Kessler died earlier this month after he fell to the ground and hit his head during a demonstration over the Israel-Hamas war that happened in Westlake Village near Los Angeles. Alagi, who's from Moore Park in Ventura County, was at that demonstration when deputies arrived and was among those who called 911 after Kessler fell. He's being held tonight on $1 million bail. A jury in San Francisco today found David DePape guilty of 2 federal charges in that hammer attack on Paul Pelosi. Prosecutors argued DePape intended to kidnap former House Speaker Nancy Pelosi last October when he broke into the couple's San Francisco home. When DePape couldn't find her, prosecutors say he hit her husband with a hammer. DePape's defense lawyer did not dispute the facts of the case, but argued DePape was motivated by a conspiracy theory, not Pelosi's official duties in Congress, as the charges alleged.
This guilty verdict on all counts sends us a clear message that regardless of what your beliefs are, what you cannot do is physically attack a member of Congress or their immediate family for their performance in their job.
DePape, who is 43, faces up to life in prison at sentencing. He is also still facing state charges of attempted murder and assault. In a statement, Congresswoman Pelosi's office said, quote, "The Pelosi family is very proud of their pop, who demonstrated extraordinary composure and courage on the night of the attack a year ago and in the courtroom this week. Thankfully, Mr. Pelosi continues to make progress in his recovery." President Biden continued to take part in the APEC summit in San Francisco today, aiming for stronger ties among world political and business leaders. KTVU's Greg Lee shows us what the president did today to work toward that goal.
President Biden stood front and center for an APEC tradition, the summit family photo, with leaders from all 21 member economies. Chinese President Xi Jinping also in attendance following Wednesday's 4-hour meeting with Biden.
We are de-risking and diversifying our economic relationship with the PRC, not decoupling. Not decoupling.
President Biden addressed business leaders at the APEC CEO summit, reaffirming the newly open lines with China. He also underscored the U.S.'s role in the Indo-Pacific and the work of American companies.
If we take just the U.S. companies represented here at this summit and look at their new investments, APEC economies in the calendar year, it totaled more than $50 billion so far.
Mr. Biden touted cooling inflation and recent positive signs for the U.S. economy, but recent polls, including a Siena College survey, show 81% of voters said the economy was in fair or poor condition, resulting in bad news for Biden's re-election campaign.
I acknowledge there's a disconnect between the numbers and how people feel about their place in the world right now. We can deal with the second part.
The president used the United Auto Workers strike and new contract as a way to encourage other nations to protect workers and support unions. He also held a lunch with APEC leaders focused on climate change, supply chain resilience, and jobs. The president had hoped to announce a trade agreement with Asian partners to offset China's influence, but talks stalled after some Democrats pushed back.
The questions we must answer today are not about how much we trade, but about how we build resilience, lift up working people, reduce carbon emissions, and set up our economies to succeed over the long run.
Mr. Biden also praised host city San Francisco, calling it a natural place to collaborate with its deep ties to the Asia Pacific, a sentiment shared by State Department officials.
The links between San Francisco and the state of California and the Asia Pacific region are incredibly close, important, built upon the people-to-people ties.
This is a city of synonymous with innovation and breaking barriers.
Tomorrow, President Biden will wrap up his week with another bilateral meeting, this time with Mexican President Obrador. Reporting at the Moscone Center, Greg Lee, KTVU, Fox 2 News.
Practice laps getting started tonight for race car drivers along the Las Vegas Strip. Coming up, why some drivers don't think conditions for this highly anticipated Formula One event are optimal. Plus,
in like any age, if you just keep trying, you can accomplish it.
that Arizona 10-year-old says he's learning that by watching his mother. Coming up, what his mom wants him to see her accomplish before a medical condition takes away his sight.
And in weather, we're still tracking a system producing some rain showers across parts of the West Coast. That system will be on the move over the next couple days, and we'll have the forecast coming up.
Formula One race car drivers expected to take practice laps around the Las Vegas Grand Prix track tonight. These are images taken from a drone camera showing how Las Vegas's Strip has been transformed into a racing circuit. Formula One events are expected to attract more than 100,000 fans to the city in the coming days. Fox's Sunny Sai spoke to drivers about how this location poses an unusual challenge.
As we get closer to Saturday night's race, temperatures continue to drop. This is going to be the first F1 night race in America, and once that sun sets, it's going to be really cold here in the desert.
I think this is one of the coldest, probably the coldest race that we have done in a long, long time. Normally we're in hotter climates, you know, so yeah, this is chilly.
The Las Vegas Grand Prix follows a lineup of warm cities, including Austin, Mexico City, and Sao Paulo. And those races all took place in the day.
We have to race these cars pretty hard to get them into the right temperature window, and that temperature window is always very small. So, example, we spend most of our races in around, I wouldn't know Fahrenheit, but in our term it would be 30 degrees.
That's around the mid-80s in Fahrenheit. But Saturday, it could dip down into the 40s and low 50s. And that means adjustments for both the drivers and the mechanics.
The cars will need to be closed up. You can imagine the cars need blankets around them, so no access for the car to get too much cold air. Our tires, they're not designed for cold.
Between the new track and the cold temperatures, drivers could face a learning curve.
But it's only when you get out there you truly recognize it, how the tires are reacting with the cold temperatures. It's probably, the track's going to be about 15 degrees colder than everywhere else we race on an average, so that's going to be reacting totally different. The engines are going to be running much, much colder.
And that was Fox's Sunny Sai reporting for us tonight. More than just drivers, though, have concerns about this event that is setting up in Las Vegas. Iconic restaurant Batista's Hole in the Wall is seeing far fewer diners these days. Owner Randy Markin says that's because of a major road resurfacing project that's been in the works for several months to prepare for this race. The race is expected to bring a boost to many Las Vegas businesses, but for those stationed right along the racetrack, the event could do more harm than good.
We have at least 100 cancellations every night, and it's always the same line. People call up and say, I'm really sorry, I can't get there. Cab won't take us, or car service won't take us. They say they're not coming to this area.
F1 acknowledges there have been challenges, and they're hoping things will be better next year. Markin says construction and road closures are worse than he imagined, and he doesn't expect to make up for the lost revenue after the race is over. Some encouraging news for drivers in Los Angeles. Tonight, Governor Gavin Newsom announced the Interstate 10 freeway is now set to reopen by this Tuesday after it was damaged during that massive fire. Originally, Caltrans believed the damage along that mile-long stretch of the freeway near downtown L.A. would take 3 to 5 weeks to complete, but the governor says engineers determined the bridge structure was in better shape than anticipated. More than 250 people are working around the clock to make those repairs. Authorities do believe that fire was arson. So far, though, no arrests have been made.
We're sick of watching them slash benefits, slash hours for, folks that are identifying with the union, that are doing, union organizing and closing stores.
All across the West today, people making Starbucks runs were running into striking employees outside of coffee shops. It's the largest strike yet in a 2-year-old effort to unionize Starbucks workers. Fox 13's Jade Elliott breaks down this labor dispute from Seattle, the home of Starbucks headquarters.
It's Red Cup Day at Starbucks, and strikes were expected. As you can see behind me, strikers taking to the streets right here downtown Seattle at the First and Pike location, demanding changes to their contracts. They're also demanding that the coffee giant stop illegally refusing to bargain with baristas over staffing, scheduling, and other issues. They're calling it Red Cup Rebellion. Red Cup Day, as you know, it's a big day for Starbucks and their customers. It's the day when the company hands out tens of thousands of free reusable cups, one of its busiest customer traffic days of the year. Well, as a part of the strike, workers are also demanding that Starbucks turn off mobile ordering on future promotion days, which they say the company executives are scheduling a lot more of. Now, workers earlier this fall filed an unfair labor practice charge with the National Labor Relations Board over Starbucks' refusal to bargain around promotion day. Now, one employee that we talked to says that Red Cup Day is a really hard day for Starbucks workers because they're always understaffed, the lines are really long, and customers get frustrated. And because of that, she's chosen to come out here and strike today.
Well, what I really want is a contract with the company, and we've been asking them to bargain and they have refused. And that is what I'm always fighting for, because when we have a contract, we can just work together as a better company. We can have better staffing, better pay, and better health and safety, which is a huge, my number one is health and safety.
And it's not the first time that Starbucks employees have done this. Just last year, workers went on strike around this same time with similar demands. Now, we expect to continue to see employees striking throughout the evening at different locations as well. But as far as the downtown location goes, it is business as usual. We've seen a lot of people coming and going out of the doors behind me with red cups, just like this one. Reporting in Seattle, Jade Elliott, Fox 13 News.
Well, in weather, the Seattle area not picking up much rainfall today. In fact, it's really focused to the south down in California. And take a look here at some of the rainfall totals over the past 24 hours. The focus actually in Southern California, Long Beach 0.36, Los Angeles 0.23, San Diego 0.13, and San Francisco 0.07. Here is a look at the satellite. As you can see, this area of low pressure just offshore here. It's drawing in some moisture, so this has been keeping things unsettled for portions of California. But up to the north, up toward Portland and Seattle, it is a quiet weather pattern. But as you can see right now, some rain showers trying to move into portions of Arizona. And then, of course, the main activity is moving into the San Francisco Bay Area. In fact, within the past hour or so, a few lightning strikes detected on the radar. The shower activity from moving from the south and heading to the north. You can see all the coverage right now up in portions of the North Bay of the San Francisco Bay Area. In fact, here's our camera from earlier today looking out toward San Francisco. Lots of cloud cover, temperatures in the mid-60s. That's looking out toward Ocean Beach and Golden Gate Park with solid overcast. But up in the Pacific Northwest today, some sunshine, but some cool conditions. In Seattle, temperatures in the upper 40s, and in Southern California, some clouds. Also some breaks in the cloud cover. Los Angeles, this was Santa Monica Beach, but LA today in the 70s. So here's the overall forecast model. And once again, this continues to be the main driver for the West Coast weather over the next couple days. This low pressure center finally begins to make its move later in the day, Friday, and into the weekend. So what that means some more rain showers and possibly some thunderstorms developing out toward San Francisco, out toward Los Angeles. This is early Saturday morning, and even out toward the Sierra, they could pick up some snowfall as well, mainly for the higher elevations up above 7,000 feet, and it looks like some rain showers could be approaching or developing up in the Pacific Northwest as we head into the weekend. So as you can see the plan, the forecast for Seattle, partly cloudy skies on Friday. We do bring in more clouds on Saturday. For San Francisco, a bit unsettled. We're going to keep those rain clouds around for Friday and Saturday, clearing out by Sunday. And then for Los Angeles, they could actually have some more rain showers coming on board into the, at least to start off the weekend. And then, as you can see, for Denver and Phoenix, fairly quiet weather pattern as we'll thicken up the cloud cover. But once again, the most active weather will be out toward California, at least in the short term, as that low pressure center finally begins to make its move and makes its move to the east as we head into Friday and Saturday.
Yeah, you got to be ready for some showers here in the coming days. Mark, thank you. One drug bust in Oregon led to the recovery of enough fentanyl to kill nearly 150,000 people. Up next on West Coast Wrap tonight, we'll have a look at what else investigators seized here. More than 144,000 lethal doses of fentanyl are off the streets in southern Oregon tonight. Authorities there seized those drugs and weapons during a recent bust, and they showed off what was taken. More than 24 people were arrested here. Authorities say this was part of a year-long investigation into a major drug trafficking organization, and they say this investigation is ongoing. Finally, tonight, a mother in Arizona will soon be competing in a grueling triathlon this weekend, hoping to inspire her young son who's losing his vision. Fox 10's Irene Snyder has that story tonight from Tempe.
Yeah, it is pretty crazy.
Christina Johnston has been training for a long time.
We swim, bike, and run a total of 140.6 miles. We will swim 2.4 miles in the frigid waters.
That's all for Ironman this weekend at Tempe Town Lake.
It's pretty incredible how Ironman training has sort of transformed my mindset and my ability to overcome difficult things, cope with diagnosis, and proceed forward in a positive way.
For her, it's more than just a triathlon. It's a way of showing her 10-year-old son, Luke, that he can do hard things too.
I was in a place in my life where I felt as though I needed a challenge, something to overcome. And lo and behold, not too long after I started my Ironman training, we learned about Luke's diagnosis.
Luke was diagnosed with retinitis pigmentosa, a rare genetic condition that causes people to lose their eyesight, usually by the time they're in their teens.
He's a tough kid, and we have done our best to take the ups and downs of all of it and just handle it as a family.
Ironman is just one of the many ways Luke's parents are supporting and encouraging him.
Being that role model and being that example is really important.
They also started a foundation called A Race Against Blindness and are raising money for a cure, helping to fund a clinical trial.
We now have a therapy, a place where the trial is going to happen, and really the big thing now is fundraising. For rare diseases like this, fundraising is the big hurdle.
Luke already has his cowbell ready to cheer on his mom Sunday. He says he's inspired, knowing that anything is possible.
Really, really good. In like any age, if you just keep trying, you can accomplish it.
Irene Snyder, Fox 10 News.
All right, Luke is all ready to go to cheer on Mom. We wish them all the best. Thank you so much for watching tonight. That does it for West Coast Wrap. We'll see you back here tomorrow night.